And then you'll patch it up, says Peter. He looks almost sorry for me, as if he knows how lost I am. That's right, I say. In the meantime, you eat these. I put a few dry pear halves in his hand and go back in the stream to wash the rest of his clothes. When they're flattened out and drying, I examine the contents of the first aid kit. It's pretty basic stuff. Bandages, fever pills, medicine to calm stomachs. Nothing of the caliber I'll need to treat Peter. We're going to have to experiment some, I admit. I know the Tracker Jacker leaves draw out infection, so I start with those. Within minutes of pressing the handful of chew-up leaves stuff into the wound, pus begins running down the side of his leg. I tell myself this is a good thing and bite the inside of my cheek hard, because my breakfast is threatening to make a reappearance. Katniss, Peter says. I meet his eyes, knowing my face must be some shade of green. He mouths the words. How about that kiss? I burst out laughing because the whole thing is so revolting I can't stand it. Something wrong? He asks a little too innocently. I'm no good at this. I'm not my mother. I've no idea what I'm doing, and I hate pus, I say. Ugh. I allow myself to let out a groan as I rinse away the first round of leaves and apply the second. Ugh! How do you hunt? He asks. Trust me, killing things is much easier than this, I said. Although for all I know, I'm killing you. Can you speed it up a little? He asks. No, shut up and eat your pears, I say. After 3 applications and what seems like a bucket of pus, the wound does look better. Now that the swelling has gone down, I can see how deep Cato's swords cut. Right down to the bone. What next, Dr. Everdeen? He asks. Maybe I'll put some of the burn ointment in it. I think it helps with infection anyway. And wrap it up, I say. I do the whole thing, and it seems a lot more manageable, covered in clean white cotton. Although, against the sterile bandage, the hem of his undershorts looks filthy and teeming with contagion. I pull out Rue's backpack. Here, cover yourself with this and I'll wash your shorts. Oh, I don't care if you see me, says Peter. You're just like the rest of my family, I say. I care, all right? I turn my back and look at the stream until the undershorts splash into the current. He must be feeling a little bit better if he can throw. You know, you're kind of squeamish for such a lethal person, says Peter, as I beat the shorts clean between 2 rocks. I wish I'd let you give Haymitch a shower after all. I wrinkle my nose at the memory. What's he sent you so far? Not a thing, says Peter. Then there's a pause as it hits him. Why? Did you get something? Burn medicine, I say almost sheepishly. Oh, and some bread. I always knew you were his favorite, says Peter. Please, he can't stand being in the same room with me, I say. Because you're just alike, mutters Peter. I ignore it, though, because this really isn't the time for me to be insulting Haymitch, which is my first impulse. I let Peter doze off while his clothes dry out. But by late afternoon, I don't dare wait any longer. I gently shake his shoulder. Peter, you've got to go now. Go. He seems confused. Go where? Away from here. Downstream, maybe. Somewhere we can hide until you're stronger, I say. I help him dress, leaving his feet bare so he can walk in the water, and pull him upright. His face drains of color the moment he puts weight on his leg. Come on, we can do this. But he can't. Not for long, anyway. We make it about 50 yards downstream, with him propped up by my shoulder, and I can tell he's going to black out. I sit him on the bank, push his head between his knees, and pat his back awkwardly as I survey the area. Of course, I'd love to get him in a tree, but that's not going to happen. It could be worse, though. Some of the rocks from small cave-like structures. I set my sights on one about 20 yards above the stream. When Peter's able to stand, I half guide, half carry him up to the cave. Really, I love to look around for a few better place. But this one will have to do, because my ally is shot. Paper white, panting, and even though it's only just cooling off, he's shivering. I cover the floor of the cave with a layer of pine needles and roll my sleeping bag and tuck him into it. I get a couple of pills and some water into him when he's not noticing, but he refuses to eat even the fruit. Then he just lies there, his eyes trained on my face as I build a sort of blind out of vines to conceal the mouth of the cave. The result is unsatisfactory. An animal might not question it, but a human with seed hands had manufactured it quickly enough. I tear it down in frustration. "Katniss," he says. I go over to him and brush the hair back from his eyes. "Thanks for finding me." "You would have found me if you could," I say. His forehead's burning up, like the medicine's having no effect at all. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I'm scared he's gonna die. "Yes. Look, if I don't make it back," he begins. "Don't talk like that. I didn't drain all that pus for nothing," I say. "I know, but just in case I don't," he tries to continue. "No, Peter, I don't even want to discuss it," I say, placing my fingers on his lips to quiet him. "But he insists. Impulsively, I lean forward and kiss him, stopping his words. This is probably overdue anyway, since he's right. We are supposed to be madly in love. It's the first time I've ever kissed a boy, which should make some sort of impression, I guess. But all I can register is how unnaturally hot his lips are from the fever. I break away and pull the edge of the sleeping bag up around him. "You're not gonna die. I forbid it, all right?" "All right," he whispers. I step out in the cool evening air just as the parachute floats down from the sky. My fingers quickly undo the tie, hoping for some real medication to treat Peter's leg. Instead, I find a pot of hot broth. Hamish couldn't be sending me a clearer message. 1 kiss equals 1 pot of broth. I can almost hear his snarl. "You're supposed to be in love, sweetheart. The boy's dying. Give me something I can work with." And he's right. If I want to keep Peter alive, I've got to give the audience something more to care about. Star-crossed lovers, desperate to get home together. 2 hearts beating as one. Romance. Never having been in love, this is going to be a real trick. I think of my parents. The way my father never failed to bring her gifts from the woods. The way my mother's face would light up at the sound of his boots at the door. The way she almost stopped living when he died. "Peter," I say, trying for the special tone that my mother used only with my father. He's dozed off again, but I kiss him awake, which seems to startle him. Then he smiles as if he'd be happy to lie there, gazing at me forever. He's great at this stuff. I hold up the pot. "Peter, look what Hamish has sent you."